Imagine dominating the box office with a high-octane sci-fi thriller while also shining in a deeply personal foreign drama. That's the electrifying double life Elle Fanning is living, and she's passionately advocating for genre-bending performances to finally snag the awards they deserve. It's a moment that has fans and critics buzzing. But will Hollywood's gatekeepers listen? Right now. Elle Fanning is riding an incredible wave of success that's the envy of many in the industry. Fresh off a Golden Globe nomination, she led the charge in the massive action flick Predator: Badlands, which smashed predictions by pulling in $40 million at the U.S. box office alone, and shattered records for the entire Predator series. At the same time, she delivered a standout supporting performance in Joachim Trier's heartfelt Norwegian drama Sentimental Value, an Oscar hopeful that's already scooped up prestigious awards from Cannes and other international festivals. Neon gave it a modest rollout on just 4 screens starting last Friday, yet it raked in $200,000, one of the strongest limited openings we've seen this year. For beginners dipping into film releases, a platform release like this is a strategic start in select theaters to build buzz through word of mouth and reviews before wider distribution. Actors rarely get to pick their release dates, but for Fanning, this perfect storm of hits feels like destiny. She filmed these wildly different projects, one right after the other, and their contrasts, from blockbuster spectacle to quiet emotional depth, highlight exactly what drives her as a performer. The only real overlap. Both earned rave reviews from critics, and Fanning absolutely nails her roles in each. I refuse to be typecast or limited to one style, she shares with The Hollywood Reporter in a candid chat. I'm eager to dive into every kind of story out there, to push my boundaries and take on real challenges. It's a mindset that keeps her career fresh and unpredictable, much like how versatile actors like Tom Hanks have thrived by mixing comedies, dramas, and thrillers over decades. In Sentimental Value, Fanning truly immerses herself as a renowned American actress tapped by a legendary Norwegian filmmaker, played by the incomparable Stellan Skarsgård, for a role in a story that draws from his own life, possibly inspired by his late wife, or a distant daughter, brought to life by Renee Reinsve. It's a nuanced portrayal that peels back layers of fame and vulnerability. Switching gears to Predator: Badlands, she's juggling 2 synthetic characters, a wide-eyed sidekick to the young Predator protagonist, Dek Demetrius Schuster-Koloamatangi, and her rival sibling, who's all sharp edges and conflict. As both films celebrate strong openings and position her for a potential first Oscar nod, Fanning reflects on the fun chaos of dual roles. I'm here in New York, basically trying to split myself in 2 for back-to-back press junkets, she jokes. But seriously, it's thrilling to see them both connect with audiences. Does this feel like a breakout year for you? Absolutely, we can call it that. Honestly, even as a kid, I had this gut feeling that 2025 would be special. I just love the number 5. I'm someone who trusts my instincts deeply. Starting in the business at age 2 means you're always adapting to changes, so you learn to sense when a new phase is dawning. I've felt those pivots before, like growing up physically or stepping into fresh territory. Super 8 was a huge turning point for me, full of youthful energy and discovery. Then there's The Great, which let me stretch in ways I never had. That role felt like home, pushing me to experiment and evolve. And now, this is another exciting shift, a whole new chapter unfolding. Watching Predator: Badlands and Sentimental Value light up theaters in their unique styles last weekend has me wondering, what takeaways do you have on what made them click? You're branching into producing and seeking out your own scripts, and with all the chatter about theaters struggling, it's a timely lesson. I've been mulling that over a lot. To me, there's a clear connection between the two. The filmmakers, directors, and the producers who bring these visions to life stick fiercely to their original ideas without compromise. People crave authenticity, not some cookie-cutter product engineered by algorithms. Viewers don't want filmmakers second-guessing with lines like, "This formula worked for X percentage of audiences last time." Art, especially movies, defies equations. It's about heart and bold choices. Take Dan Trachtenberg, the director of Badlands. He's a total geek for the genre. The kind who grew up geeking out at Comic-Con in massive halls like H. He swung for the fences with this fresh concept and had a team that backed him fully, even if it was a gamble. Flipping the script to make the Predator the hero, weaving in synthetic beings, and even a robotic backpack? Unheard of for the franchise. But it paid off big. Sentimental Value hits differently. It's raw and intimate, straight from Trier's soul. No one else could craft it quite like he did. And here's a key insight many overlook. The more pinpoint specific a story gets, avoiding broad strokes, the wider its emotional reach. This film doesn't spoon-feed resolution or wrap everything neatly. It leaves room for reflection, showing real growth without the fairy tale polish of happily ever after. Life's messier than that, and audiences connect when films mirror it honestly. But here's where it gets controversial. In a world obsessed with feel-good endings, does leaving things open-ended risk alienating viewers, or does it make the story more memorable? You tackled Badlands and Sentimental Value consecutively, didn't you? Spot on. I just wrapped A Complete Unknown and was still based in New York when Dan reached out. We'd already chatted, and his script for Badlands blew me away with its innovative spin and the chance to embody twin synthetics. We hopped on a Zoom, hit it off, and locked it in. Turns out production was kicking off soon in New Zealand. As I prepped to head there, my team called with news. Joachim Trier was eyeing me for his next project. I was thrilled but torn. I have to do this one too. So I Zoomed with him from Oslo, and we instantly synced on the character of Rachel. It was like he could read my thoughts through the screen. We bonded fast, and he stressed how vital rehearsals are to his process. "Come to Oslo so we can workshop with the full cast," he urged. He films every session, then tweaks dialogue and traits to fit the actors perfectly. It's collaborative magic. Logistics got tricky since both shoots overlapped, but we made it work. Right after our call, I flew to Oslo for a full week of rehearsals with the team. I might have popped back home briefly, then dove into 4 months of filming in New Zealand. The day I finished, I was up at dawn for a flight to France, then a drive to Deauville for fittings. We must have tried on hundreds of gowns for Rachel's festival premiere look. We nailed the shoot, and boom, off to Oslo proper. That sounds intense. How was bouncing between such opposite worlds on the fly? It was a whirlwind, no doubt. But in a cool way, the high-energy action from Badlands actually fueled my take on Rachel. As a character, she's this A-list star who's likely starred in tons of young adult blockbusters and franchise flicks. So the transition felt organic and layered her backstory. Shifting from A Complete Unknown last year, which skipped festivals and dropped on Christmas without much fanfare, just some Q&As afterward, to Sentimental Value, now entering awards buzz, how do you stay grounded? We kept it low-key initially because of the timing. But yeah, I snagged the National Board of Review Award even before it screened. I was stunned. To me, Sentimental Value isn't small. Working with Joachim Trier, who's in my book one of the greatest directors alive, makes it epic. Sure, it's a subtitled foreign language piece, but hey, Predator Badlands is basically subtitled too, with all its futuristic lingo. The goal is exposure. Get it in front of as many eyes as possible because it resonates deeply. Why hold back when it could touch lives? Your work in Predator Badlands is phenomenal, and the film carves out real space for your distinctive style. Yet, the Predator brand might make some dismiss it for awards, especially next to a prestige entry like Sentimental Value. What's your take on that genre snobbery? Spot on. Look at Demi Moore's powerhouse turn in The Substance last year. She earned every bit of acclaim. or Everything Everywhere All at Once, which redefined bold storytelling and swept awards. We're inching toward inclusivity, and that's crucial. Genre shouldn't be a barrier. Bias against it is outdated. A movie's a movie, period. We need to nurture fresh voices from emerging directors and celebrate their risks, not box them into serious categories. No formula should dictate worthiness. I hope this evolution keeps gaining steam. And personally, I approach every role the same. No hierarchies. Portraying dual characters in Predator was a genuine acting workout, amplified by the physical demands. Harnessed and wired up back-to-back with my co-star, nailing comedy beats and pacing. Demetrius brings such raw emotion. Even masked, it shines through. That's his gift, and it's mesmerizing. But this is the part most people miss. Why do we undervalue the craft in blockbusters when they demand just as much skill, if not more? Could it be that awards bodies fear looking unserious? I caught up with your Sentimental Value co-stars recently, while you were likely knee-deep in Predator promo. They raved about the emotional exposure in a Trier film, how it demands total openness. Coming straight from a mega action shoot, was that a shock to the system? You have to reset your headspace, flipping the switch to a new persona. Ironically, I felt more receptive after the adrenaline rush, primed to dive deep. Trier asks for unfiltered truth and feeling. He fosters this secure bubble where you can bear it all. He's cool with long, loaded pauses and intense eye contact that strips away pretense. Staring into Stellan Skarsgård's eyes, those windows to the soul pull you in completely. Rachel isn't a mirror of me, but prepping her meant tapping personal reserves. Her journey echoes stuff I've navigated in acting and beyond. That ache of searching, the fog of doubt, wrestling quiet depressions. As performers, we chase meaningful parts to prove our range. Without them, it's frustrating. What personal thread surfaced as you explored those depths? Some stay private, but Joachim gets it all. One scene stirred something unrelated to the script, life stuff that hit hard. I arrived on set in tears, confused by the surge. Turns out, it tied to nerves about the moment's intensity. He's intuitive, almost psychic. He sensed it and checked in at my trailer. "We'll take our time, no pressure," he assured. We unpacked the weight together. I can't spill more, but her fight for control over Verpath, that's rung true for me earlier on. Now, producing lets me chase my own stories, a game changer. As a kid, it's all auditions and waiting, powerless. And the solitude of the job can weigh heavy, cutting you off. You've been non-stop, just wrapped the latest Hunger Games. What's next on deck? Hunger Games was a blast. I scored killer outfits and let loose with a vibrant character. Up now, the Nightingale alongside Dakota. Finally coming together, yes. Sorry for the endless rumors over the years. It's been a Hollywood legend in itself. Shooting in spring next year? Exactly. And timing-wise, it's ideal now that we're in this growth phase. Dakota and I chat about how paths unfold for a reason. We've matured, carved individual trails. Smart, since kid star pressure could have blurred our identities. Back then, joint projects fizzled for good cause. Now, blending our worlds feels right. We've never even run lines as pros. Each gig shapes you. But this? Perfect alignment. Time to act opposite each other for real. No sibling shortcuts. True. Brace for giggles mid-scene. Oh yeah, or calling out, "Cut that out." Elle's journey spotlights a bigger debate. Should award seasons finally embrace genre gems, what Predator Badlands as equals to dramas? Or does the prestige divide still serve a purpose in highlighting nuanced work? What do you think? Is it time to smash those barriers? Or are there valid reasons to keep them? Drop your takes in the comments. I'd love to hear if you've got a favorite underappreciated genre performance that deserves the spotlight.